Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our December 5th lesson in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students, Lesson 339 from the original edition. I will receive whatever I request. I will receive whatever I request. Let's turn that around so that it's not in my view there, if I need to, so that you can see me while I'm reading here. I will receive whatever I request. I will receive whatever I request. You know, that's very similar to yesterday's lesson. I hope you really got the strength of that lesson yesterday. It's a law. You know, it's a law. I am affected only by my thoughts. Thank you for letting us know about that law I told Jesus yesterday. It just amazed me that he's given us these rich understandings about the way that mind operates. And mind is what makes everything. And that we can change the effect of what our mind is creating by changing our mind. So today's lesson, I will receive whatever I request, is basically whatever mind is asking for is what you're going to get. And don't worry so much about the words you use. It's what you're thinking and what you're feeling is the best way I can say it. It's below what some of us might call consciousness, or the subconscious, I guess is what a lot of people would call that realm where you're not aware of it, and yet it's a thought you're thinking and a feeling you're feeling. Or, you know, the way I like to think of it is that I'm thinking a thought and it's making me have a certain feeling. Well, if I don't, and sometimes I don't know the thought I'm thinking, but I can feel the feeling real easy. I've lost my peace, or I have my peace. So I go back to the quiet, to the be still, and I say, what am I asking for here? I will receive whatever I request. See, and that's our lesson today. No one desires pain, but he can think that pain is pleasure. No one would avoid his happiness, but he can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous. Everyone will receive what he requests. But he can be confused indeed about the things he wants, the state he would attain. What can he then request that he would want when he receives it? He has asked for what will frighten him and bring him suffering. Let us resolve today to ask for what we really want, and only this, that we may spend this day in fearlessness, without confusing pain with joy or fear with love. Wow, can we do that? That we're even talking about it is like so wonderful. Thank you, Jesus, for sharing this information with us. And the prayer under I will receive whatever I request. Father, this is your day. It is a day in which I would do nothing by myself, but hear your voice in everything I do, requesting only what you offer me, accepting only thoughts you share with me. Wow, isn't that a beautiful prayer? Okay, let us now go take a look in our text reading, and we are ready for, did we finish? Yes, we finished section 2 in chapter 10, God and the Ego. We're ready for section 3, the willingness for healing. The willingness for healing. Now, I'm sitting out here on a tree that I wanted to show you because it just amazed me. Let me turn around here just a little bit. This is a post oak, Quercus stellata, and this is a juniper, Juniperus virginiana. Well, look how well it's doing right up next to that tree. And the reason it caught my attention and I wanted to show you is because there's about 4 more on right beside it that are further from the tree. And look how spindly they're doing, how they just don't look like they're thriving. There's one little one right here that doesn't look like it's going to make it at all. If you can see that, hopefully you can see that, not in the way. Then there's this one here that doesn't look too well, and then there's one right over here. So I hope you can see all those. But I just was amazed that here this one that was right up by the tree, I mean, it's growing. There's a big root here, and a big root here, and it's right up against the tree. And I'm wondering if those two trees and a root level are actually assisting each other with nutrients. and it's making that tree do better than the ones that have more light. I mean, you'd think that one would be losing a lot, but evidently it's gaining something. It would just amaze me so much that I thought I'd share with you all my wonder. I did want to talk a moment about lettuces, but I'm thinking we'll just go look at that tomorrow. We got a little cedar tree look. Let's keep our focus mainly on our lesson here. The willingness for healing. If sickness is separation, the will to heal and be healed is the first step toward recognizing what you truly want. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings it closer. Wow. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings it closer. And what's it step away from? Let's read it again, first sentence. If sickness is separation, the will to heal and be healed is the first step toward recognizing what you truly want. So we want to just see healing everywhere. Wherever there's pain, we want to offer healing as we can, okay? At least a good thought. A thought of kindness is so healing. Every attack is a step away from this healing. Every attack is away from this recognizing. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings it closer. The Son of God has both Father and Son because he is both Father and Son. Catch that? The Son of God has both Father and Son because he is both Father and Son. To unite having and being is only to unite your will with his, for he wills you himself. And you will yourself to him because in your perfect understanding of him, you know there is but one will. I love that. In your perfect understanding of God's will, you understand there is only one will. Yet when you attack any part of God and his kingdom, your understanding of this is not perfect. And what you will is therefore lost to you. Well, we're talking about how to regain what we were talking about earlier about what we've lost in our unconscious. We lose awareness of it because we've attacked. So we need to now not attack and offer healing, and guess what? The awareness comes back. It's the beginning of the journey, right? That's what we're going to start with healing, and we're going to end with creation. We start with healing, and after everything's healed, we're creators, the way I'm seeing it. We're actually all that all the time, but that's the way that as we're journeying, we're going on that journey of healing towards being creative. And I'm not sure that's the best way to look at it, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, is that you are a creator and you are a healer. And as we walk back towards light or towards knowledge, towards God, we have to repair what's broken first, and that's the healing. And once all the healing's done, then we have our rightful place as creators. All right, I think that's a better way to think of it. Paragraph 17. Healing thus becomes a lesson in understanding. And the more you practice it, the better teacher and learner you become. And that's what we want to be, good teachers and learners. If you have denied truth, what better witness to its reality could you have than those who have been healed by it? But be sure to count yourself among them, for in your willingness to join them is your healing accomplished. Okay, so we're gonna join. Let's read that one again. Healing thus becomes a lesson in understanding, and the more you practice it, the better teacher and learner you become. If you have denied truth, what better witness to its reality could you have than those who have been healed by it? But be sure to count yourself among them, for in your willingness to join them is your healing accomplished. I'm just kind of checking the time there. Every miracle which you accomplish speaks to you of the fatherhood of God. Every miracle which you accomplish speaks to you of the fatherhood of God. Every miracle that you accomplish speaks to you of the fatherhood of God. Every healing thought which you accept either from your brother or in your own mind, teaches you that you are God's son. There's just so much there. Every healing thought which you accept, either from your brother or in your own mind, teaches you that you are God's son. In every in every hurtful thought you hold, wherever you perceive it, lies the denial of God's fatherhood and your sonship. Wow, so we lose consciousness of our conscious. We lose awareness that we're one with God, and that God's one with us, and that we love each other, and that we're invulnerable, and all those wonderful things that are part of the kingdom of heaven, which is where we want to be and abide and stay forever. Okay? With a body or without a physical body, you want to stay in the kingdom of heaven, and that's what we want to do. All right? We want to learn to do that in mind, and know that we are eternal. We just want to stay there all the time, in every level of consciousness. Maybe we could call it that. Whatever level you're on, just remain steadfast in your wanting healing and being a creator and have an understanding. Okay, paragraph 18. And denial is as total as love. You cannot deny part of yourself because the remainder will seem to be unintegrated and therefore without meaning. And being without meaning to you, you will not understand it. To deny meaning must be to fail to understand. You can heal only yourself, for only God's Son needs healing. He needs it because he does not understand himself, and therefore knows not what he does. Having forgotten his will, he does not know what he wants. I see we're in a confusion. It's like the prayer that Jesus, he went there at the crucifixion when he said, how do you say it? Basically, let's not hold this against my children. How do you say it? I can't recall the passage now. I'll look for it and we'll talk about it. Maybe it'll come to me before we leave here. But it was there on the cross, and he was basically what I get a sense of. It may be better for me to just tell you what I sensed of what he's saying, rather than the verbiage. And that's that he was basically saying, Father, I realize that my children that just crucified me, or my brothers, my sisters, however you thought of it, I realize, Father, who he called God, that they don't know what they're doing. They're confused. And that's where we're all at. We want to awaken, and that's our healing. And denial is as total as love. That's the paragraph we do. Okay, read 19. Having forgotten his will, he does not know what he wants. 19. Healing is a sign that he wants to make whole. And this willingness opens his own ears to the voice of the Holy Spirit, whose message is wholeness. He will enable you to go far beyond the healing you would undertake, for beside your small willingness to make whole, he will lay his own complete will and make yours whole. The little willingness is all you need to offer, and his strong will come do the work. So he will enable you to go far beyond the healing you would undertake, for beside your small willingness to make whole, he will lay his own complete will and make yours whole. What can the Son of God not accomplish with the fatherhood of God in him? And yet the invitation must come from you, for you have surely learned that whom you invite as your guest will abide with you. The Holy Spirit cannot speak. There's a lot there. Maybe I should just stop right there. I think I will. It's hard for me to tell how long we've spent so far, but I think that there's so much there that I'd like to just talk more about it tomorrow. It's just a beautiful lesson in awakening, and that's what he's given us. He's given us lessons in awakening. Thanks be to God. I had a friend, his name was Muhammad, and every time that he would use Muhammad's name, which was sacred to him, he would say, "Blessed be his name," or something to that effect. And I always appreciated that loyalty. And here I'm learning these truths, and I just feel so thankful to God, blessed be his name, that he shared this information with us so that we can not be in the dark, but come back to being healed and whole and knowledgeable, wisdom, in light. Uh, and thank you all for joining me in this journey. Wow, thank you so much. The more I think about it, it's all in mind, and we're doing what, but the more I think about what's going on, I use point to my head when I'm talking about mind, that we're all interconnected anyway, and we're all finding our parts. And I'm just so thankful because I get so much encouragement from doing this lesson. I'm glad there's a few people that actually are benefited by it, and so thank you. It helps me. I hope it helps. If it helps you as much as it helps me, well, then we're doing a really wonderful thing on planet Earth. All right. I will receive whatever I request. That's our lesson today, and I just love that lesson. But we're going to read what is the ego next, and then we'll look at I will receive whatever I request again. What is the ego? The ego is idolatry, the sign of limited and separated self, born in a body, doomed to suffer and to end its life in death. It is the will that sees the will of God as enemy and takes a form in which it is denied. The ego is the proof that strength is weak and love is fearful. Life is really death, and what opposes God alone is true. The ego is insane. In fear it stands beyond the everywhere, apart from all. In separation from the infinite, in its insanity, it thinks it has become a victor over God himself. And in its terrible autonomy, it sees, in quotes, it sees, because it's not really seeing, is it? It sees the will of God has been destroyed. It dreams of punishment and trembles at the figures in its dreams, its enemies who seek to murder it before it can ensure its safety by attacking them. The Son of God is ego-less. Boy, if we attack, remember we're learning, we just read in our lesson, or our text reading, that we lose awareness, that we're one with the Father and the Son. And that's a major loss of awareness, because everything else the ego built is on that separation. You thought you could separate from God and create your own world. That was the first thought that separated you. So we're getting back to the core, the root problem here, huh? So we'll apply that to every thought in our life until that's the only true thought that's in every manifestation on planet Earth and anywhere else that the Son of God decides to abide. All right, the Son of God is ego-less. What can he know of madness and the death of God when he abides in him? What can he know of sorrow and suffering when he lives in eternal joy? What can he know of fear and punishment, of sin and guilt, of hatred and attack, when all there is surrounding him is everlasting peace? Forever conflict-free and undisturbed in deepest silence and tranquility. Isn't that beautiful that that's the life that we can live, this life of peace, and knowing that it's eternal, that we can have joy always? Just let it go. Use your forgiveness and stay there. To know reality is not to see the ego and its thoughts, its works, its acts, its laws, and its beliefs, its dreams, its hopes, its plans for its salvation, and the cost belief in it entails. In suffering, the price for faith in it is so immense that crucifixion of the Son of God is offered daily at its darkened shrine, and blood must flow before the altar where its sickly followers prepare to die. Yet will one lily of forgiveness change the darkness into light, the altar to illusions, to the shrine of life itself. So one lily of forgiveness will change that last sentence where he says, in suffering, the price for faith in the ego is so immense that crucifixion of the Son of God, the loss of awareness, the crucifixion of the Son of God is offered daily at its darkened shrine, and blood must flow from the altar where its sickly followers prepare to die. Yet will one lily of forgiveness change the darkness into light, the altar to illusions, to the shrine of life itself, and peace will be restored forever to the holy minds which God created as his Son, his dwelling place, his joy, his love, completely his and completely one with him. Wow, that is so wonderful. And we have the means to assure our passage there. Our ticket, our password is forgiveness. Love your neighbor as yourself, and don't let an unhealed thought escape your healing, your miracle. I will receive whatever I request. I hope this is what you're requesting. To have the be miracle minded. That's what you really are requesting. And I'm just hopefully putting it in words for some of us so that we can think, yeah, it's right. That's exactly right what I'm doing. I will receive whatever I request. No one desires pain, but he can think that pleasure is pain, or pain is pleasure. I better read that again. I will receive whatever I request. No one desires pain, but he can think that pain is pleasure. No one would avoid his happiness, but he can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous. Oh my. Everyone will receive what he requests. That's just law. Everyone will receive what he requests. That's what Abraham calls the law of attraction. Everyone will receive what he requests. But he can be confused indeed about the things he wants, the state he would attain. That's where we've been, isn't it? That's why we need healing. What can he then request that he would want when he receives it? He has asked for what will frighten him and bring him suffering. Let us resolve today to ask for what we really want, and only this, that we may spend this day in fearlessness, without confusing pain with joy or fear with love. I will receive whatever I request. And the prayer once again, Father, this is your day. It is a day in which I would do nothing by myself, but hear your voice in everything I do, requesting only what you offer me, accepting only thoughts you share with me. I will receive whatever I request. I will receive whatever I request. And thank you all so much for joining me. Once again, I will receive whatever I request.